What if I told you that most people go their entire lives chasing peace, but never actually find it? They chase money, thinking it will buy peace. They chase relationships, thinking someone else will bring them peace. They chase success, applause, attention, only to lie awake at night with a storm raging in their chest. You ever felt that? That ache in your spirit, even when everything on the outside looks fine? That's the lie this world sells. It tells you peace is out there, just a little further down the road, after the promotion, after the house, after the approval. But what if I told you that peace isn't out there? What if I told you peace is not something you find, it's something you build, something you protect, something you choose every single day? See, the problem isn't that life is too loud, it's that we don't know how to quiet ourselves. We keep waiting for things to calm down, but the truth is, life won't calm down. Life is noisy, messy, unpredictable. But you can calm down. You can learn to be still in the middle of the storm. You can learn to protect your energy like it's your lifeline, because it is. You can learn to stop begging the world for peace and start becoming the kind of person that carries peace no matter where they go. Because the truth is peace isn't soft. Peace is powerful. Peace is not running away from chaos. It's standing in the middle of it and not letting it enter you. It's not passive. It's fierce. And the ones who have it, they're not lucky. They're intentional. They've fought battles not just with the world, but within themselves. And they've won. So if you're tired, not just physically, but spiritually, if you're drained, if you're fed up with chasing everything except what really matters, then listen close. This isn't just motivation. This is a call back to yourself, a call to stop running and start returning. Because if you want peace in life, real peace, not fake, filtered peace, you're going to have to earn it. And I'm going to show you how. You hear people say it all the time, I just want some peace and quiet. But what they're really saying is, I want everything around me to stop so I can finally feel calm. That's the mistake. Because life doesn't stop. The world doesn't go on pause just because you're tired. The noise doesn't go away. In fact, the higher you rise, the louder it gets. More demands, more distractions, more people talking. So if you're waiting for life to be silent so you can find peace, you'll be waiting forever. Peace isn't found in silence, it's found in stillness. And there's a difference. Stillness is internal. It's when you stop letting what's happening around you shake what's happening within you. You see, peace isn't the reward for escaping the chaos. It's the skill of standing in it and not flinching. It's being calm when everything else is cracking. It's when the world is yelling, but your soul is whispering, I'm good, I'm grounded, I'm not going to lose myself just because everything else is spinning. Think about it. There are people living in mansions with all the money they could ever want, lying awake at night with minds they can't shut off. And then there are people with next to nothing, sitting on porches, smiling, breathing, grateful for the breeze. So don't confuse a quiet environment with a peaceful heart. You can be in the middle of the loudest season of your life and still walk with peace that makes no sense to the world. Why? Because peace is mastery. Mastery over your emotions, mastery over your thoughts, mastery over your mouth, your reactions, your attitude. And that takes discipline. It takes work to train your mind to stay steady when fear creeps in. It takes maturity to stop being a slave to every opinion, every comment, every bit of chaos thrown your way. But that's what separates the peaceful from the panicked. It's not what's happening around them, it's what's happening inside them. And that inner peace, it doesn't just show up one day. It's built through prayer, through presence, through pause. Built by letting go of what you can't control and taking charge of what you can. Built by shutting out the noise, not by running away, but by turning inward. By choosing to stop scrolling, stop reacting, stop chasing, and start listening to the quiet voice inside you that already knows what matters. See, when you master the noise, not avoid it, not deny it, but master it, you become unshakable. You walk into rooms, and your peace speaks before you do. You face problems, and people look at you wondering how you stay so composed. But it's not luck, it's not denial, it's practice. And every day you show up with that practice, you get stronger. Every day you choose stillness over stress, clarity over chaos. You get one step closer to real peace. So no, peace isn't the absence of noise, it's the ability to hear the noise and still choose not to let it own you. It's the calm eye in the middle of the storm. And once you have it, nothing can touch you the same way again. You'll never find real peace as long as you keep handing other people the pen to write your worth. That's the trap, believing that someone else's opinion has the power to define you, that their applause makes you valuable, that their rejection makes you worthless, But here's the truth. You were already enough before they noticed you, and you'll still be enough after they forget you. The problem is we've been trained to look outward for answers to inward battles. We scroll for validation. We perform for acceptance. We mold ourselves to be liked, even if it costs us authenticity. And in the end, we wonder why we feel hollow. Peace doesn't live in popularity. It lives in alignment. When you're constantly chasing approval, you become a prisoner to perception. Your mood rises and falls with someone else's recognition. Your self-worth becomes a scoreboard that's always changing, based on likes, followers, compliments, and attention. But the scoreboard is rigged. You can never win that game because the goalposts keep moving. One day you're celebrated, the next you're criticized. One moment they cheer, the next they disappear. And if your peace depends on them, then your peace was never real. You have to stop looking in broken mirrors and expecting a clear reflection. The world will always have something to say about your journey, your choices, your dreams. But none of it matters unless you believe it. And too many people spend their lives waiting for someone to confirm what they should have known all along, that they are worthy, that they are loved, that they matter. Let me tell you right now, you don't need the world to agree with your value for it to be true. Validation must come from within. It must be rooted in purpose, not performance. Who are you when no one is clapping? Who are you when no one is watching? Because that person, that version of you, is the one who needs to be strong. That's where peace is born, not in the image you create for others, but in the identity you own in private. And that identity needs to be built on something deeper than opinions, something that doesn't shake when the crowd turns silent. You see, when you stop seeking external validation, you free yourself from the cycle of constant proving. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't even understand themselves. You stop editing your soul to fit into spaces that were never built for you. And in that freedom, you find peace. A peace that isn't shaken by gossip. A peace that doesn't need applause to feel powerful. A peace that comes from knowing, I am enough as I am. So if you're tired of trying to measure up, tired of trying to be seen, tired of chasing approval like it's oxygen, then it's time to turn inward. Time to heal the parts of you that seek from others what can only come from within. Because the moment you realize that you were never missing anything to begin with, is the moment you finally become free. There's a weight that doesn't show up on your back, but you carry it every day. It's heavy, but invisible. It slows your thoughts, steals your peace, clouds your joy, and that weight is unforgiveness. People think holding on to pain gives them power. They think staying angry somehow makes them stronger or keeps them in control. But the truth is, it does the opposite. Holding on to bitterness is like swallowing poison and expecting someone else to suffer. You don't punish them, you punish yourself. You think you're protecting your heart by building walls, but all you're really doing is trapping the pain inside. At some point, you have to ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? Because most people don't realize that forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's about giving yourself permission to move on. It's about choosing freedom over resentment. And no, it doesn't mean you approve of what they did. It doesn't mean it was okay or that you forget. It just means you're done giving it power over your peace. Because if you don't let go, it will keep dragging you, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. That grudge you think you're carrying, it's actually carrying you away from the person you're meant to be. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's strength. It's not surrendering to the past, it's reclaiming your future. It's saying, you hurt me, but you no longer have the authority to define me. That's real power. That's real healing. And for a lot of people, the person they need to forgive isn't someone else, it's themselves. You can't heal while hating yourself. You can't grow while you're still chained to shame, regret, and guilt. So let me say this to you. You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. You are allowed to have made mistakes and still move forward. You are allowed to forgive yourself. The longer you hold on, the harder it becomes to rise. You weren't designed to carry everything. You weren't built to haul around the betrayal, the abandonment, the heartbreak. There comes a time where peace has to matter more than pride, where healing has to be louder than hurt, where you finally say, I'm not letting that moment steal any more of my life. Because forgiveness isn't just about what happened, it's about what's next. It opens the door to your next chapter. It clears the clutter from your soul. It gives your mind room to breathe, your heart room to beat, your life space to flourish. And yes, it's hard, but peace lives on the other side of that hard decision. And when you choose it, you're not giving in, you're rising up. So let go. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. Let go because you're tired of bleeding from wounds you refuse to close. Let go because you're not meant to live stuck. Let go, or be dragged. And if you're ready for peace, real peace, then it starts with forgiveness. That's where your freedom lives. Your peace is sacred. Your energy is sacred. But the truth is, most people give it away like it's free. They let anyone walk into their life, dump their drama, stir their emotions, and steal their focus. They say yes to every request. They scroll endlessly through negativity. They engage in arguments that drain their soul. And then they wonder why they feel tired all the time, why they can't sleep, why they have no motivation left. It's because they're leaking energy. Energy that was never meant to be spent on things that don't matter. You have to understand this. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every invitation to chaos needs an RSVP. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Your peace is not a community project. You are allowed to protect it. In fact, you must protect it. Because the truth is, your energy is your life. Where your energy goes, your life flows. So if you're constantly pouring into things that don't pour back, you're slowly draining the very power that keeps you going. Think of your energy like a bank account. If you keep making withdrawals without making deposits, you're going to end up bankrupt. Every time you let toxic people stay too long in your circle, every time you engage in gossip, every time you keep saying yes when your soul is begging for a break, you're depleting that account. You're robbing your future peace to pay for someone else's present mess. And that's not sustainable. It's not selfish to set boundaries. It's survival. It's wisdom. You can't grow if you're constantly managing other people's chaos. You can't elevate if you're always being pulled down. Some people only come around to dim your light because they're too afraid to shine on their own. And it's your job to notice that and walk away. Not out of anger, but out of protection. Your calling is too important. Your growth is too important. Your healing is too important to be sacrificed for people who don't even value your presence. Start being intentional about where your energy goes. Pay attention to how you feel after conversations, after scrolling, after certain environments. Your body knows, your spirit knows. Start honoring that. Spend time with people who fill your cup, not empty it. Choose environments that encourage you, not exhaust you. Choose stillness over noise, clarity over confusion, peace over popularity. Because when you protect your energy, everything changes. Your thoughts get clearer, your emotions settle, your purpose sharpens. You don't have to apologize for choosing peace. You don't have to feel guilty for saying no. The most powerful people in the world aren't the loudest. They're the ones who know how to retreat, recharge, and return stronger. That's how you move different. That's how you stay grounded in a world that's constantly spinning. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. When you guard what's within you, the chaos outside of you loses its power. And in that space, in that clarity, in that intentional silence, peace begins to grow. Unshakable, unbothered, unapologetic. And that right there is real power. Most people are walking through life carrying pressure, like a backpack full of bricks. The pressure to succeed, the pressure to be perfect, the pressure to keep up, to impress, to meet expectations that were never even theirs to begin with. And in that constant chase, they lose themselves. They lose their joy, their identity, their peace. But here's the truth. Peace was never found in pressure. Real peace begins the moment you surrender to purpose. Because purpose gives your pain meaning. Purpose gives your life direction. Pressure will crush you, but purpose will carry you. Pressure says do more, be more, prove more. It keeps you in a cycle of constant comparison. You look to your left and to your right and you wonder, am I enough yet? You measure your value by someone else's timeline, someone else's definition of success. And no matter how much you achieve, it never feels like it's enough. That's the trap. Pressure is a never-ending treadmill. You're running hard, but you're not going anywhere. It exhausts you without fulfilling you. Purpose, though. Purpose feels different. Purpose is rooted. It's not loud. It doesn't scream at you from the outside. It whispers from within. It's not about image, it's about alignment. When you're walking in purpose, there's a peace that settles in your soul. You stop chasing and start choosing. You stop proving and start becoming. You no longer need to convince the world of your worth, because you're already convinced of your assignment. You don't find peace by reaching some imaginary finish line. You find peace when you realize you're exactly where you need to be, doing what you're meant to do, becoming who you were born to become. It doesn't mean life gets easy. It means you stop fighting against yourself. You stop hustling for validation and start living from conviction. You start showing up with intention, not anxiety. And you begin to understand that just because you're not moving fast doesn't mean you're not moving forward. Surrendering to purpose doesn't mean you stop working hard. It means you start working differently. You move with meaning, not desperation. You act with clarity, not confusion. And even when the storms come, you're grounded. Because you're not being pushed around by pressure, you're being led by purpose. And that kind of peace, it can't be shaken by circumstances. It's deeper than emotions. It's bigger than opinions. It's the kind of peace that holds you together when everything else is falling apart. So stop letting the pressure shape you. Stop letting deadlines define you. Stop letting comparison distract you. Start listening to that quiet voice that keeps pulling you towards something greater. That voice is not pressure, it's purpose. And when you surrender to it, when you choose obedience over ambition, when you choose intention over image, peace will find you. Not because life is perfect, but because you are finally aligned. You are finally home within yourself, and that is where peace lives. Peace isn't something you stumble upon. It's not hiding at the end of a paycheck, a relationship, a title, or a destination. Peace is a decision, a discipline, a daily act of choosing purpose over pressure, stillness over noise, growth over grudges, and self-worth over seeking validation. You don't need the world to calm down. You need to master your own storm. Because when you take back your energy, forgive what tried to break you, silence what was never meant for you, and align with what truly matters, that's when peace becomes unshakable. You weren't created to live anxious, exhausted, or constantly chasing. You were created to live grounded, focused, and powerful. But that life doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. So if you want peace in life, stop waiting for it. Stop begging for it. Start building it. Build it with boundaries. Build it with discipline. Build it with purpose. And when the world tries to pull you back into the noise, remember this: peace is not passive. It's power under control. And it belongs to those bold enough to protect it. You want peace? Then live like your life depends on it. Because it does.